yourself differently. They're literally screaming, I want you, and you're not hearing it. These non romantic attraction signals are happening right now with someone in your life. And by minute 8 of this video, you'll have that oh my god a moment when everything clicks. Don't skip ahead. Each sign builds on the last. Let's go. One. Let's get real for a second. Romantic attraction is one of the most misunderstood aspects of human interaction. And it's probably why you've been confused about whether someone actually likes you or if they're just being friendly. Here's the truth that nobody talks about. Romantic attraction operates on a completely different frequency than platonic friendship or casual politeness. And once you understand the difference, your entire dating life transformed overnight. The signals are there. They've always been there, but most people are walking around completely blind to them because nobody ever taught us this stuff in school. We learn algebra and history, but nobody sat us down and explained the psychology of human attraction and how to read the signs that someone is romantically interested in you versus just enjoying your company as a friend. And this matters more than you think because missing these signals means missing opportunities with people who could be perfect for you. While misreading friendly behavior as romantic interest leads to awkward situations and rejection. The crazy part is that when romantic attraction is present, the other person is literally screaming, I want you, through dozens of micro signals that happen automatically and unconsciously. Their body, their voice, their behavior, everything shifts when romantic feelings are involved. So if you stick with me through this entire video, I'm gonna break down the exact signs that separate romantic attraction from everything else. And I promise you, once you see these patterns, you'll never be confused again about where you stand with someone. Two, the first major sign of romantic attraction is what I call priority shifting, and this is absolutely fundamental to understanding if someone sees you romantically or just as a friend. When someone is romantically attracted to you, you become a priority in their life in ways that go beyond normal friendship. They'll rearrange their schedule to see you. They'll cancel other plans if you become available. And they'll make time for you even when they're legitimately busy with work or other commitments. But here's the key. Isn't just about making time, it's about how excited they're to make that time. A friend might agree to hang out if they're free, but someone who's romantically attracted will actively create opportunities to be around you. They'll suggest specific plans instead of vague, we should hang out sometimes. Statements they'll follow up on those plans and actually make them happen instead of letting them fade into nothing. You'll notice they text you first thing in the morning or right before bed, which are the most personal times of day when we think about the people who matter most to us. They remember small details you mentioned in passing and bring them up later. showing that conversations with you occupy minority state even when you're not together. This priority shift then happens because romantic attraction creates a sense of urgency and desire that friendship simply doesn't have. When you're just friends with someone, seeing them as nice but optional. When romantic feelings are involved, seeing them becomes something they actively crave and pursue. Like this now, if someone's face just popped into your head, subscribe. Let's keep going. 3. Now let's talk about vulnerability and emotional intimacy because this is where romantic attraction reveals itself in the most powerful way. When someone is romantically interested in you, you'll open up to you in ways they don't with other people, sharing personal stories, fears, dreams, and insecurities that they normally keep guarded. This happens because romantic attraction creates a desire for deep connection and emotional bonding, not just a surface level friendship. They want you to really know them. The real them behind the social mask we all wear in public. And you'll notice they ask you deep questions about your life, your past, your goals, and your feelings. Not just a small talk about weather and weekend plans. They genuinely want to understand what makes you tick, what drives you, what keeps you up at night. And here's what's really telling. They remember these conversations weeks or months later. They reference something you told them in confidence, proving that your words mattered and stuck with them. Compare this to platonic friendships where conversations tend to stay more surface level and casual. Sure, close friends share more personal stuff, but romantic attraction takes it to another level of intensity and frequency. They might tell you things that they've never told anyone else or share their true feelings about situations where they normally just keep quiet. This vulnerability is actually a massive compliment because it means they trust you and feel safe with you, which are essential foundations for romantic relationships. If someone is consistently going deeper with you conversationally and emotionally, that's romantic attraction showing itself loud and clear. 4. Let's dive into something that psychologists call future projection because this is one of the clearest indicators that someone sees romantic potential with you rather than just friendship. When romantic attraction exists, people naturally start imagining a future that includes you in it, and they can't help but realize that these thoughts in subtle and not so subtle ways. You'll hear them say things like, "We should go to that restaurant when it opens next month," or "You'd love this festival that happens every summer. We should go together." Or even bigger things like, "I think you'd really like my family," or "You should come with me on my trip to wherever." Notice the pattern here. They're making plans that extend into the future and and they're automatically including you in those plans. This is a huge because it shows that they're not just enjoying the present moment with you, they're actively envisioning you as a part of their ongoing life. Parents might make casual future plans occasionally, but someone with romantic feelings does this consistently and naturally. They talk about future experiences, trips, events, and goals with the assumption that you'll be there with them. Sometimes it's even more direct. They might ask you your relationship goals, whether you want to get married someday, how you feel about kids, or where you see yourself living long term. These are random questions. They're gathering information to see if your future visions align with theirs. The psychology behind this is fascinating. Romantic attraction makes us instinctively elevate compatibility for a potential long-term partnership, even if we're not consciously thinking about marriage or serious commitment yet. Our subconscious mind is always running compatibility checks when romantic feelings are involved, and that manifests as this future-oriented language and planning. 5. Physical proximity and the way someone manages space around you is an incredibly telling sign of romantic attraction that most people completely overlook. When someone is romantically attracted to you, they consistently position themselves close to you in ways that go beyond what friendship requires. In group settings, they somehow always end up standing or sitting next to you even when there are other options available. When you're walking together, you'll match your pace and stay close rather than drifting ahead or lagging behind. They'll find excuses to be in your physical space, reaching across you to grab something when they could easily walk around, sitting close enough that your legs or arms touch, or standing near you when there's plenty of room to spread out. This isn't accidental or coincidental. It's driven by a biological urge to be physically near the object of our attraction. Humans are drawn to close proximity with people we romantically interested in because physical closeness triggers the release of bonding hormones like oxytocin. Here's how you can test this. If you step away or create distance, does that person close the gap again? If you're sitting together and you lean in slightly, do they lean in too, or do they pull back? Someone with romantic feelings will consistently maintain or decrease distance, while someone who only sees you as a friend will be more neutral about spacing and might even increase distance to maintain a comfortable platonic buffer. Pay attention also to how they position their body when you're together. Are they fully facing you or angled away? Do they orient toward you even when talking to other people? These subtle spatial dynamics reveal so much about their true feelings. Which sign hit you hardest? Comment a number 1 to 9 and tell me if you've been missing romantic attraction signals this whole time. Watch till the end of the video, then come back and answer 6. Now we need to talk about jealousy and protectiveness because even though these are always a healthy emotion. They're undeniable indicators of romantic attraction. When someone has romantic feelings for you, they show signs of discomfort or jealousy when you talk about other romantic interests or when others flirt with you. This might be subtle. Their mood might shift slightly. They might get quieter or they might suddenly change the subject when you mention someone else you're interested in. Or it might be more obvious. They might make comments about that other person, question their intentions, or even directly tell you they don't think that person is good enough for you. This happens because romantic attraction creates a sense of territorial feeling, not in a toxic, possessive way necessarily, but in a I wanna be the one who has that place in your life way. They might also show protective behaviors like walking on the street side of the sidewalk, making sure you get home safely, checking in when you're out late, or stepping in if someone makes you uncomfortable. Friends can be protective too, but romantic attraction adds an extra layer of intensity and consistency to these behaviors. You'll also notice they pay attention to how others interact with you. They clock when someone is flirting with you even before you notice it yourself. This hidden awareness exists because when you're romantically interested in someone, we're subconsciously monitoring for competition and threats to our potential relationship with that person. Here's an important distinction though. Healthy romantic interest shows care and mild jealousy, while unhealthy possessiveness shows controlling behavior and anger. Make sure you're recognizing the former, not tolerating the latter. 7. Let's discuss communication patterns and response behaviors because the way someone communicates with you reveals everything about whether their interest is romantic or platonic. When romantic attraction is present, communication becomes a priority and you'll see this play out in specific ways. They respond to your messages quickly and consistently, not playing games or waiting hours to text back to seem cool or unavailable. Their messages are substantial and engaging, asking follow-up questions and keeping conversations going rather than giving one-word responses that kill the interaction. They initiate contact regularly without you always having to be the one reaching out first. They share random thoughts, funny memes, interesting articles, or updates about their day because they genuinely want to maintain connection with you throughout the day, not just when you're physically together. Compare this to friendship communication, which tends to be more practical and sporadic. Friends might go days or weeks without talking and pick up right where they left off with no issue. But romantic attraction creates a desire for consistent connection and communication. You'll also notice that the tone is different. There's usually more flirtation, more playful teasing, more emojis, and enthusiasm. They might use pet names or inside jokes that create intimacy between you. The content of conversation shifts to more personal topics rather than staying surface level. And here's a big one. They remember things from your previous conversation and reference them later, proving they're actually paying attention and that what you say matters to them. If you notice someone going out of their way to maintain communication, responding thoughtfully and quickly, and showing genuine interest in your thought and experiences, that's romantic attraction manifesting through their communication style. If your loved ones and relationships mean anything to you, send this video to them right now. 8. Physical touch and the escalation of physical intimacy is perhaps the most obvious yet frequently misread sign of romantic attraction. When someone is romantically interested, they find ways to touch you that go beyond what's typical for friendship, and I'm not talking about sexual or inappropriate touching, but rather subtle, affectionate touches that test the waters and create intimacy. They might touch your arm when emphasizing a point in conversation, give you longer hugs than necessary, playfully push or tap you when laughing, find excuses to hold your hand, like when helping you over an obstacle, brush her out of your face, or rest their hand on your knee or back casually. What matters here is the frequency, duration, and intentionality of these touches. One random touch could be nothing but consistent physical contact throughout your interactions reveals comfort with physical intimacy and a desire to establish that kind of connection with you. The psychology behind this is that romantic attraction makes us crave physical closeness with our person of interest. It's literally biology driving us to create bonding through touch. Pay attention to how they react when you touch them too. Do they lean into it or pull away? Someone with romantic feelings will respond positively and reciprocate your touch, creating a feedback loop of escalating physical comfort. Also, watch for what I call protective touching, guiding you with a hand on your lower back, pulling you closer in crowds, or positioning themselves as a physical barrier between you and potential threats or discomfort. Friends generally maintain more physical distance and keep touching minimal and brief, while romantic attraction leads to increased, lingering, and more intimate physical contact over time. 9. Finally, let's wrap this up by talking about effort and investment, because this might be the most important indicator of all. When someone has genuine romantic feelings for you, they invest a real effort into the connection. And I mean consistent and visible effort that goes beyond the bare minimum. They plan thoughtful dates or hangouts rather than just suggesting, let's watch a Netflix. They remember what you like and incorporate those preferences into activities together. They dress nicely when seeing you because they want to look attractive for you. They actively work to impress you by showcasing their best qualities, skills, and accomplishments without being obnoxious about it. They introduce you to their important people, friends, family, co-workers, because they want you integrated into their life. They support your goals and celebrate your wins, like They're their own victories. They're willing to have difficult conversations instead of ghosting when problems arise. This level of sustained effort over time is the ultimate proof of romantic interest because effort requires caring deeply enough to prioritize someone else's happiness and the health of your connection with them. Compare this to situationships or casual friendships where effort is minimal, inconsistent, or one-sided. Real romantic attraction makes people willing to be inconvenienced, to compromise, and to show up even when it's not easy or convenient. So here's your homework. Look at the totality of someone's behavior across all these categories we've discussed. If you're seeing consistent patterns across multiple areas, that's romantic attraction is screaming at you loud and clear. Don't second guess it, don't overthink it. Trust what their actions are telling you and respond accordingly. If you found this valuable, make sure you subscribe because we dive deep into relationship psychology every day, and drop a comment letting me know which sign resonated most with you. Thank you for watching till the end. I'll see you and for a special one in tomorrow's video. Wishing you romantic and beautiful moments together.